another week.
Another week.
I'm Georgia. This is
Jess.
And this is the Hot and Dangerous podcast. We're glad to have you.
We're gonna get better at the intro. We'll figure out an intro that's introducing ourselves
Right now
and
it's just sound
not
bites.
sounding complete. Yeah, maybe we'll just have to like pre-record one.
Yeah.
But anywho's, so
let's get down to business.
bum
To defeat
the
the
Huns.
Huns. Anyway.
Hello and welcome
Hi.
back.
Hi.
It is another episode. How are you this week? How have you been since our little chat? Our little chatty chat.
Terribly busy, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
My Google Calendar is a nightmare. You know?
Oh man.
But it's a good time, and I wouldn't have it any other way. How has your week been since our last little?
It has been incredibly busy. I am currently doing trial prep at work.
Ooh. Can we explain for the non-legalese people what trial prep like broadly entails?
Basically, we're just scrambling last minute to get every single document that we might possibly rely on in court into a
oh my god, that's
official
so suits. That's so
capacity.
Suits,
It's really not.
That's so
it's not that
Suits.
glamorous. It's a lot of me calling people and being like, "Hey, I submitted this 30 seconds ago, but can you get it back to me right now?"
Fair.
Yeah. But you know, I am working with me just gonna hype her up, but obviously Amanda, my work wife, she's amazing, and I'm
Amanda
actually, like,
Isms. So Amanda Isms.
yeah, that's
This
my
is the same Amanda.
yeah, she's a boss, and this isn't her first trial, but I am it is my, well, fingers crossed we settle tomorrow, but
Isn't that fun? Great segue. What was a little topic that we touched on last week that might be the part one of this part 2 video, confidence, and where do we need to talk about confidence in? The workplace, and how
so I think, okay, so in a very less convoluted way, last week we talked about confidence and what it, kind of defining it and what it means to us in a personal capacity, and kind of our experience, like our personal experiences with confidence. And it's definitely such a broad topic that we wanted to bring it around to more of a practical implication.
Applicable.
Confidence, because it's something that we've both, a blessing and a curse, where we've both been in male-dominated fields and professional fields, and navigating that not only as a woman but as a young woman, and has taken a lot of learning and a lot of growth on both of our parts, and we both had a lot of experiences with different aspects of kind of coming into our own and figuring out how to keep that confidence
100%. Yep.
and or how to even start having the confidence in different work situations. And so so I guess we could start there. What has been the job that you've been the most confident in?
Off the dome,
what is the job that you felt the most confident in?
Ooh, honestly, I loved working at the pharmacy. That was my favorite one.
I forgot you worked at the pharmacy.
Me too for a second there. But honestly, no, that one is my favorite. I bring that up in every job interview because it's the one that actually brings me the most, like, it was the one that I felt most.
I don't think I was living at home when you were working there. Can you give me a rundown of what you did? Because I don't think that I even know.
It was small town pharmacy. So basically a bunch of old people and a bunch of old people. It was my day to day. And like we had fun stuff. We had oh my god, the managers there were amazing. Like they just always had cool stuff, and like we had it was like a pharmacy / gift shop because it was small town. They brought in
like think Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yes, it was like a Shoppers, but so much smaller because small town. Anyway, but my job there was kind of like I was a cashier basically, but there was as in smaller businesses, you kind of put on many different hats, and so I did I checked lottery. Sometimes I do deliveries for the prescriptions. there was like stocking, all that kind of stuff, like all the like regular stuff entailed. But I felt really confident because honestly, I love old people. I love them. I think there's just
old people love you too.
Yes.
That's the difference. Is not only do you love old people, but old people love you.
I honestly think it's because I have so much respect, and I feel like I have so much to learn from them, because they have not, like, they have the most valuable thing to me, which is compounded time and experience. Like, time is such a big value of mine, like being able to have time freedom and like choose where I spend my time, and they know how they've spent their time, and so it's
an underrated resource for sure.
Hugely. So I felt so confident because I got to have these conversations while a newfie lady came in and checked her lottery tickets, and it was like, I don't know, 20,000. So you just like flip through all the lottery tickets and you're having a conversation about their grandkids, and like you learn so much, and I felt really confident in conversing there, and like just understanding where they were coming from, and I really liked it.
So why do you think that job, like, obviously it's one you enjoyed, but why was that something that you were most confident in? Was it just like there wasn't any pressure?
I think like there was not a lot of pressure. There was not a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I'm like it. My manager was truly a heaven sent. Like, she was a middle-aged woman, and we were like, she knew about everything. She knew about everything going on in my life, and I knew about everything going on in hers. And it was like those like unconventional like friends you meet along the way. And no, there was not a lot of pressure. It was a slow moving. There wasn't pressure from the customers as well. Sometimes in like cashier or customer service positions, the demographic of customer make or breaks your performance.
Absolutely.
And I think that the demographic there, they had nothing but time. A lot of people had nothing but time. So like the old people that would come in, they'd sit and talk for 20 minutes. The young kids that would come in, they were looking for a birthday gift for their like friend, and they had nothing but time. Like, it was just, you got to, there was, it was just, it was slower. It wasn't slow, but it was slower paced, if that makes sense.
Like, there was no real sense of urgency.
Yes.
Well, because I feel like also commenting on the small town thing, it's more so you went there because it wasn't a necessary stop. Mm-hmm. Like, if you were at the 100%. Grocery store, it was a necessary stop. There's one grocery store within 100 kilometers of our town center. So that makes sense.
What was the job that you felt the most confident in?
I still feel the most confident in serving.
Oh. You are a phenomenal. Can we sidebar? Jessie is a phenomenal server. Like, phenomenal. When like we work together at the diner that we work at, and I just host. There's a reason, but I just host. But Jessie is a phenomenal server. Everybody that comes in, everybody that gets sat in Jessie's section, like, it's impressive. You're just impressive. Continue.
Which is kind of strange, because if I'm really thinking about it, being a server and all the things that kind of come with the service industry are not really my strengths. Being patient with people and being like off the bat kind, and not kind, but like being really bubbly and being really sociable and things like that are not really my strong suits.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when I'm serving, I just lock in. And it's something that I know exactly what I expect when I go to a restaurant. And I know that, like, I know how to give good service, and I know how to make the best of any experience. And it's something that I'm very confident in both my ability to perform for the customer, but also I know that my team likes it when I work.
Yes.
Like, my team appreciates when I'm there because I can really handle my own stuff and help out.
Yeah.
And also, I'm very aware of...
You're also very good at delegating. Another point, like if somebody needs like you are good at,
again, not a strong suit of mine,
very good at very good at delegating tasks. If somebody needs to get something done but you can't complete it yourself, you're like, hey, can you do this for this person? And it's like it's solved very quickly. You're a very great problem solver at work too,
which is, and I think it's the fast-paced environment. And obviously, like, I've served for, oh my god, almost a decade now.
Yay,
I'm old. But I've been in some sort of serving capacity for probably over a decade.
Yeah.
And I've worked on both sides. Mom owned a restaurant when we were young. I saw the behind the scenes of that. I worked as a server. I've worked as a bartender. I've worked as a manager.
Yeah.
Like, I've worn every hat in there. Yeah. And it's definitely...
So you know it. You're comfortable.
I am really comfortable. And I also have a really great relationship with every part of a restaurant. And that comes from... Like, some of my best friends were the kitchen guys. And, like, some of... Like, and learning those dynamics and, like, having that relationship with everybody just makes my job really easy. And it's something that I never worry about my serving job, because I know that I'm good at it. I know that I go in, I do my job, I don't have to think about it, and then I can turn my brain off.
Huge. One thing you say,
leave work at work.
Yes, that is a great part of the service industry, is you can leave work at work.
Yeah, for the most part. There is sometimes where, especially if it's your full-time only job.
Yes.
And I'm also... complete sidebar, but it wouldn't be us if we didn't sidebar. Stop calling it a big girl job. Serving is a big girl job.
Yep. Like, big girl job. You know what? I don't like that.
When I say, like, I have my 9 to 5 job. Yeah. I don't say, like, I have my big girl job during the week. No, serving is, there are career servers, and they're appreciate them. You should appreciate them. Yes. Because they're the reason that half of our restaurants are open. Because us seasonal workers, we are not the employees that you need.
No. So it's not a big girl job. It's a job with more commitments, or not more commitments, more
expectations.
And yes.
Like, there is so many different aspects to, but anywho, stop calling it a big girl job. Huge. It is a big girl job.
Another point, but one thing you say all the time about the service industry that I have adopted now is it's your fun job. Like, you say this is my fun job. Yeah. I say that's my fun job. I walk into work and sometimes I'm not feeling the best. Sometimes I have really bad days. I go in the morning and I'm like, I really don't know how I made it out of bed this morning. I spend 2 hours with the dream team.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'm out of my shell. I'm back to being Georgia. I'm back to being okay. And
there is something about...
It takes your, brain out of it.
If I could give any young individual a piece of golden advice, get a job in the service industry. Do
it. I didn't understand until I understood. It honestly has been such... tying it back to the topic, huge confidence builder for me. Huge. Yeah. When I started at Diner versus now, I feel like I understand passive conversation a little better, and understanding social cues. Social cues is not always my best, my strong suit, but there you pick up on those little things because it's so fast paced that you get so many examples in a shift. Yeah. And it really does build you.
There's also something about stripping away so it's a huge thing we've talked about, obviously talk about service industry things, but there's the may I. So basically, may I in service industry is kind of like a, can I interrupt you? And without it being, it's being polite without needing to sound polite all the time. Yes, because a lot of times you need to ask for things in a rapid manner. Yes. But you don't.
Tone sometimes can get miscommunicated.
Yeah. Yes, so it's basically if I need to run to the kitchen and I need to know is there gluten in the sausages?
Yeah.
I need to be like, kitchen, may I? And then anybody who has the capacity to answer is going to answer. It's not me like waiting for my opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's also something that when you strip away all of the, because like you said, I'm not super great at picking up on social context all the time. Like I don't always know when I'm coming across as rude or that my tone is a little bit sharp. But when I'm at work, I know that I can keep my tone steady and I can relay instructions and people aren't going to receive them as me being rude.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though I never intend for them to be rude.
Yeah.
But if I say may I in real life, then people are like, what, why?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Doing? Yeah, I feel like we should adopt that.
Which I mean, hang around some servers, you'll hear it.
Truly, truly.
But yeah, so basically, I'll give you an inside tip here, and don't abuse it. Otherwise, I will come for you. But essentially, may I in a restaurant is the polite way of doing this. Like, you know, all those old movies when old people like snap at their servers. It is the way of getting a server.
Excuse me.
Or like it's getting our attention without being rude.
Yeah. It's a great one. Yeah.
But anywho, you know, after our ramble about the service industry, which I'm sure will happen lots. So what is the job you felt the least confident in?
Least confident, I would say auto parts sales. Now, little fun fact, Georgia loves cars. Georgia loves anything mechanical. I have a motorcycle and
we straight up grew up in a garage.
We did. And I like my first car was a project car that I dropped an engine and a transmission into, and like truly I love cars. So it was something that I was confident in the work. Mm-hmm. I was not confident sitting behind a counter as a grown man in his 50s yelled obscenities in my face. Like that was the part that was the breakdown for me. And yeah, no, there was like too many days to narrow it down that I was in my car crying at lunch. Like it was very mentally taxing for not a great reason. Like there wasn't
not even the customer service aspect of it, because clearly like you've worked other customer service jobs and been like a cashier.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was, let's say it outright, in a male dominated industry,
huge
being a woman,
it felt like that was an easy preyed upon point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I felt invalidated a lot of the time because I would know a lot, and then the customers would think they'd know better, and then they'd come back and have to return it, and I'd be like, and it was even worse. Like, you know when it feels good to say I told you so to some people?
Oh, yeah.
It never felt good. And I had a good number of a told us so.
You still had to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to be, like, the bigger person at the end of the day to make this,
And it doesn't always feel great to be the bigger person when you knew you were right in the first place.
Yeah.
Like,
we could have just avoided this.
Like, it's not like it was like, I didn't understand the cognitive dissonance, like, in some of these men, like, because a lot of the times because they asked for the recommendation, but then they'd talk to me like it wasn't my day-to-day job, like it wasn't like I wasn't there every day,
which truly isn't unusual. And I think that the job that you had also, like, there's you see that in any field, that in any field you'll get that to a certain degree, but definitely in those male dominated areas, that type of almost like, what is the word,
condescension,
like the brush off,
like the passer, it's like you pass over.
Because I remember, so I worked in the oil field. I cut grass on oil leases. I was one of the whippersnipper girls, and not one of the girls. We had guys and girls, but we had our own crews.
Yep.
And you worked with a what are they called? DSL map. So you get your location numbers. So it'd be like 26, 32, 18. And you have to like find the
lease
quadrant
on the
to
thing.
the whatever.
Yeah.
So every morning you got your lease numbers, and then you would go and do those leases and report back if you finished, blah, blah, blah. And I worked with my best friend Bryce, and and without fail, every morning our supervisor would give Bryce the lease numbers and would give Bryce the lowdown.
Yep.
And I drove for the crew. Like, I was the driver. I did not have getting, and Bryce would literally look at him and be like, and then hand them to me.
Yeah.
And it was just the same thing. And it wasn't that I wasn't capable, and it wasn't, but it was that immediate deference to him as the man.
Yes.
And mind you, like,
sometimes it's not always, it's like, and like, to play devil's advocate,
it's not always conscious.
Yeah, it's not always conscious, which is it almost is worse. It's almost worse. Because I'm like, because at that point you're fighting the system and not fighting the person.
Yeah, which I think like that's a good point in any sort of job. If you find yourself in those situations, one thing that I had really good, obviously I was working with my best friend. He was just like, why aren't you just telling Jess?
Yeah.
Or he's like, just tell her. She drives.
No, truly.
Like, and it's having that, like, men, you know what's wrong with the system.
Yeah.
Stand up for when you see the things that are wrong.
Yeah.
State them out loud.
Say something.
It doesn't always have to be an attack either.
Yeah.
Like, because like we said, it's not always super conscious, and it's not, but it's a learned behavior. And so when we unlearn it and just say, hey, wait, why did I do that?
Yeah. Like, check, like, it takes sometimes it just takes one man that's aware of it to check another man who's unaware.
Yeah. Like, even in your friend groups, that's something that like we've talked about with some of the really good guys we know who in their friend group, if they're like, I hear my friends, you know, talking about like banging chicks and blah blah blah. It's like, check yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because we all get kind of wrapped up in things that are not super, that we wouldn't say normally.
Yeah.
But because of group dynamics and herd mentality and all of those things. But in the workplace, sometimes you just have to say it.
Yeah.
You just have to say it once.
Huge.
And say it. And this comes with so many different things, and it's hard to do it when you're in a really high pressure, high stakes situation in professional fields and whatever. But there are certain things like you can tell people not to call you hun.
Yep.
Or you can stop people from interrupting you.
Yep.
And be like, actually, no, I wasn't finished speaking.
Yep.
Or stop speaking and then be like, when you're finished, I'll continue.
Yep. It's like the gentle parenting. A lot of the times I found myself gentle parenting these customers. Woof. Like, hugely. Like, those are some really big feelings. I'm going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to go grab the part from the back. I'm going to grab a second set of eyes. You take a breath. We'll get it figured out. And that's all it took. That's all it took, right? Oh, yeah. No, I think it's an interesting...
And that also takes, that in and of itself, takes a lot of confidence.
Huge.
And it's something that I've had to learn in a lot of different aspects and a lot of different parts of every job that I've had, that you have to know when to stand on your business.
Yeah.
And when to just let it go.
Pick your battles. Pick your battles.
There's always going to be things that are in any dynamic, anywhere, anytime, there are going to be friction points.
Yes.
But if it is something that undermines your capability or people's perception of your capability, you need to correct it.
Yeah. That's so huge. Huge. Confidence, like, a big part of that is knowing when to pick your battles. Because when you are confident that is a battle you want to pick, you're going to stand on business because you know that is something that you believe in. You know that's something that is worth fighting for or worth spending the mental energy on.
Absolutely.
100%. So in saying that, what was a job that you didn't always feel so confident in?
I mean, okay, so one job that I hated was I did door-to-door sales with I'm not going to say their name, with a big phone company.
I remember this.
I did door-to-door sales, and I absolutely felt so horrifically anxious every single day. I worked there for 2 weeks, and mind you, I'm not a person to quit a job. I've never quit a job because I wasn't moving or like some big extenuating circumstance that like my boss knew so far in advance.
Yes, yeah.
This job, I literally couldn't do it one day. I hit my breaking point and I texted my manager and I was like, I am so sorry. I will not be there Monday. I quit.
Yeah.
Like I worked there for 2 weeks. And mind you, like they were still like, no, like we see so much potential in you. I was like, I hate this dynamic.
Yeah.
And it was because I like to respect people's no.
Yeah.
And a big part of sales is finding when people mean no and when they mean maybe.
Yeah.
Which some people are very, very good at that.
Yeah.
And it is a huge part of sales.
Yeah.
Is that there's always a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
It makes me violently uncomfortable to
find that context.
Convince people.
Yes.
And then also going door to door, like you get screamed at.
I can imagine. Oh my God. Yep.
And you know, I always thought it was funny, like when we used to play with the door to door salesman that would come to our house.
Yeah.
Like we thought it was funny to be like, my mommy hasn't been home in 3 days.
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah. I remember you like, send me, you and me and Joe, we don't know where they went. And there's just, yeah.
We would like kind of play with it, but nobody was funny with me. And it was horrendous. And then also there was a lot of, I got stalked by my manager after I finished working there. That was horrible.
I didn't know about this. Whoa. What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And it was just like the fact that because I quit and then he was like, no, like you have so much potential. I was like, honestly, dude, like I'm so out. And then he had it in his head that like we had some sort of personal connection and he like called me a bajillion times, like would drive by my house anyways. But so that was a job that I just hated everything about it. And that was also the first summer that since I was 12 years old, that I wasn't employed. The first summer / and then since I was 16, the first time I had been unemployed.
Yep.
And that was huge for my confidence. My job and being able to provide for myself and to be able to pay all my own bills and be autonomous in that way is a huge core part of my confidence. And having that not fall into place because I couldn't find a job that summer. Yeah. And I ended up, this was like between my first and second year of university, I ended up like moving home. Yes. And well, like not moving home, but staying at home. Yeah. Quite a bit because I was living on my own and I was fresh 18 and everybody else had a job and I didn't get one. And then I had that job for a couple weeks and it was, that was the summer.
Yeah, that just clicked. Context, we're not going to go into that in this episode. Maybe we'll debrief. Maybe we'll do an episode of like our biggest fights.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to.
Oh, my God. But no, that summer we had a huge blowout fight. Georgia wrote a letter, left it on Jessie's bed after she had worked a shift, like knowing now. Okay. And then left it on her bed and then Jessie did not even say a word. Didn't say a word to me. Didn't say a word to Mom. Drove back to the city. Left.
I didn't speak to anybody.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Actually, no. I sent a picture of it to Mom. And I said, get your girl. And then I peaced out and didn't speak to anybody for like a month.
Oh, that was the start of the terrible teenager Georgia years.
Yeah.
That was like that maybe that was the catalyst. I think that was like the first time I like.
Well, it was also something that that was a big part, is I was feeling so crappy about myself and like so lost and I felt really guilty because for the first time in my entire life, I was very conscious of the fact that like I had no money coming in. Because mind you, like I have had a part-time job since I was 12. I was a cashier's assistant.
Yeah.
At 11, but I was working under the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a cashier's assistant and I always had money for any of my like extracurriculars.
Yeah.
And it was always just, I never had to ask
for
money. And mind you, because I liked being able to do that.
You liked being independent. It was a point of your independence.
Yeah. And so I was never comfortable asking mom, which it's normal to ask your mom for $20 to go get snacks.
For context, like they weren't.
My parents would never have not given me money, and we had like accounts at like small town. We had like a charge account at the grocery store.
Yeah, so you could go and get lunch, salad, or whatever.
It was no big deal, but it was a big point of pride for me that I could pay my own bills, and that was the first time that I was an adult.
Yeah.
And I moved out at 17, did my entire first year of university underage.
Yep.
And that was really difficult and really hard because I have all of these adult responsibilities, but none of the adult privileges.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge thing for my confidence, was the minute that I was actually an adult.
Yeah.
I no longer could take care of myself as an adult. Yeah. And that was...
So moving back, it felt like you lost that adultness that you had just found.
But I had just like gotten it officially. And so that was a job that like really, really threw me for a loop. But it was also a bunch of life things that were happening. And then I would say that like the main one, starting this job, like in working in the legal field, the hardest part was this was my first like corporate professional job. Yeah. I had always been in kind of I like opened a bar, I opened a restaurant, I worked at a daycare, I worked in the oil field, but never in like a very, very like corporate professional environment. Yeah. Yeah. And so that was really nerve-wracking. And then it was also, this is my career. Like and I think there's a difference between a job and a career. Yeah. And this is what I've always planned to be my career. Yeah. And so that was really nervous because there was a lot more pressure. Yeah. To succeed, and a lot more.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And there was a lot more nerves that what if I didn't like it as much as I thought? Yeah. Or what if I didn't succeed as much as I thought I was going to? And then I would have to like rethink my entire life. Yeah. Fast forward 3 years, I love my job. I am gaining so much confidence in it. And I'm good at my job. Yes. Like I know I'm good at my job. There's aspects of it that I'm still learning, obviously. And there's so many different things that I will learn till I'm done working. Yeah. There's never anything that I couldn't learn in this field. But I also am like starting to recognize that, yes, I put on my business clothes and I have to wear heels to the office and we go for lunches. But it's also, a lot of that is just performance. Yeah. And that truly the dynamics between my coworkers and I aren't any different than they are at a restaurant. Yeah. Or there's, I have to say my polite emails. Yeah. Yeah. And I have to tell you to pull your head out of your butt in a corporate professional way.
Oh, I love sometimes for a bit me and Jessie will text each other in legalese. Do you want to role play real quick? Maybe you start it. Sorry.
Okay. Good afternoon, Miss Terrio. Kindly refer to the agenda we have discussed in regards to the upcoming filming of our podcast. If you could ensure your thorough review before our meeting, it would be greatly appreciated.
Kindly.
Best.
Ooh. Ouch. Okay.
That is
so that's the tone. That's the tone.
That's my email signature. Best.
And then I would go, good evening, Miss Terrio. I have reviewed your attached agenda and will circle back by the end of the day. Please understand at this time, I am tied between a few things and will not be able to give this my attention at the moment. Sincerely, Georgia. And like that'll be like our text. Like we'll just text like that because it's a bit. It's like it's such my it truly favorite, is.
Sometimes
one of my favorite
sometimes
bits.
One of my favorite things at the like the small wins at the end of the week are, well, me and Amanda do it all the time at work. We're like, we have to send each other some emails and run it through and be like, is this too bitchy?
Yeah.
Is this? And then there's sometimes where we both have to like take it down a notch. We're like,
But you can hide it in there.
You really can, and you know it when
it's
somebody.
An art.
It is a beautiful, subtle art of context, and what is it called? Subtext. Subtext. Yeah, subtext.
Yep.
But
truly,
yeah, I think that like learning how to do all of that in this job and how to find my confidence in it in a completely different field is still something that I am working on and working towards. And like, it comes with, there's also a huge part that plays like imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody, that's a good point, because I don't think nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that in real life. You have to talk like that because it's conducting business, and you have to talk like your words are a business as well.
Exactly.
So that 100% would make you feel
And
imposter.
there's so many aspects of my job that I'm like, I'm like, why am I being trusted with like very big things?
Yeah.
And a lot of my job is confidential, and like those things don't really blow my mind as much, but some of the things that like I'm straight up filing people's like lawsuits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl.
You are a woman.
I know.
Let's
but then
no,
sometimes,
I get it.
But like the most interesting part is like when I'm working from home and I'm sitting there, fun bun, big old hoodie, giant mug of coffee, sucking on my vape, in my undies, working from home.
Yep.
If my boss sees this, I promise that's not how I'm working from home. But
never.
Is. If that's how I'm working from home. And then I'm straight up filing lawsuits.
Yeah.
Or like organizing court hearings.
Yeah.
Calling the registry.
Yeah.
Like filing court orders and serving them. And I'm just like...
Like, no, and I feel like that's how everybody feels, though. That is such a good point. A quote from one of my favorite shows that we talked about in the last episode, Euphoria. Maddie says, "That's the thing about confidence. Nobody knows if it's really real or not. That's the thing.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you freaking make it." Because
that's it.
Everybody feels like that.
Everybody says that, and people will say it all the time, like, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. Truly.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you feel like you really have made it.
Exactly. And like, I think that's the thing is like, I started serving and I was completely faking. I was so uncomfortable. I didn't want to get anything wrong. I didn't want...
Yep.
I was so nervous to piss people off. I was so nervous to like have those interactions. And there are some, like when I started serving, I had a really amazing senior server who took me under her wing, and she had been doing it for years. She's like, you take no shit.
Yep.
She's like, you are the boss. This is your field.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yep.
Do not let people walk all over you. And she was the first person that if a customer was being rude to someone or was trying to be a type of way, she was the first one to be like, you ain't going to talk to my coworker like that. And it took that. And then now
you're that person
I
at
am
work.
that person at work.
You are that person at work.
Because no one deserves to go into their job and get degraded and be made to feel like they're stupid and less than.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, with some jobs, there's more consequences.
Yep.
But you are not a bad person because you did bad work.
Yeah. Everybody has bad days.
Everybody has bad days. And it took so much recognizing that you're allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to think of them as like, I rang in the wrong side in my job. Sometimes the consequences are a little bigger than that. And I have to be like, oh, okay, but there is a way to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be because we're human. And that's a huge part of confidence is learning to forgive yourself when you mess up.
Yeah, huge.
Give yourself some grace.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I now with age, like getting older for me, it's been, now when I have those little oopsies or I have those little setbacks, I take it as, okay, what am I learning from this? What am I learning from this?
Yeah.
How can I fix this? How am I learning from how I fixed it? Because now that I know what the solution is to the problem that I may have created for myself, I can maybe avoid that problem in the future because I can do the solution before the problem arises. Like, you know what
you can also help people figure out their own problems. And a huge thing is, like, I always say, I will never fault you for your mistakes.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fucks up sometimes. It matters what you do afterwards.
Oh boy, does it ever. Sorry, that was a little pointed. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, no, it matters.
What did I
Think
do?
about it for a second. Not you. It
Oh.
matters how you fix it.
Oh, it absolutely matters how you fix it. Are we talking
Look
about
at
the
me.
same
Look
thing?
at me. Look at me for a quick second. It matters how you fix it.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Sorry. We need a telepathy communication.
That was
insane. No, but it truly does. Like, it truly does matter how you handle it afterwards. And a big part of stepping into your confidence and somebody truly believing that you're confident is knowing how to say that you messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it takes a truly confident person to stand there and be like, yeah, sorry guys, that one's on me.
Oh my God. Whoa. That was like, that makes me think of like the one rule, the household rule. Tell mom first. You tell your parents first. If you messed up at school, if you got in trouble with whatever the law,
it was basically like our moms and dads' biggest rule was they want to hear it first.
It taught you, but it taught you to admit your mistakes in a safe space. I never looked at it that way. Sorry, but that it made me realize that now when I
be your own safe space.
When I stumble, I now know that admitting it is a safe space. Admitting it and understanding that the sooner you admit it, or sooner you admit to yourself that you stumbled, the sooner you can get past it, the sooner you can find solutions, the sooner you can help people, or like get help finding a resolution. A resolution.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the biggest part is that like you truly do have to be your own safe place, because when you try and avoid making mistakes and you're going to waste so much energy.
Oh my God.
Everyone is going to mess up sometimes, and that's fine.
Yep.
It's how you handle it.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to be like, you know what? I really like screwed the pooch on this one. Yep. How do I do better?
Yep.
And people will help you if you ask.
Yep.
But it's when you refuse to admit that you're right and refuse to admit that you're wrong and are just arrogant in that way that nobody wants to help you.
Nobody wants to make you, huge point. If you're arrogant, nobody wants to help you. Nobody's going to help you fix it. 100%.
But it's like you can be confident in your mistakes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because once you learn how to handle them and how to fix them, you are that much further along than somebody who's never made those mistakes.
Hugely.
And that comes with just experience in general as well, like life experience and all of those things. Like, you're going to go through some shit.
Yeah.
And life is not going to be kind to you, and it's not going to be fair.
Yep.
But you can take everything that you go through and be able to make somebody else's journey a little bit easier.
Huge.
And
Huge.
experience the next thing a little bit smoother.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%.
And that all comes with just time. And like, I think the whole age thing is hugely, you stop caring about a lot of.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
When you start getting older, you just stop giving a shit.
I could tell even 18-year-old me, hey, in a couple years, you're going to climb Cringe Mountain. You're going to climb Cringe Mountain. You're going to get out of, what is it? No, Shame Mountain. Cringe Valley. Cringe Valley, Shame Mountain. So Cringe Valley.
Okay.
This is not mine, by the way. I'm taking this. Shame or Cringe Valley? Did I say Cringe Valley or Shame?
Cringe Valley.
Cringe Valley. Cringe Valley is where you feel cringe. It's that feeling of, why did I say that? Right? Once you have climbed Shame Mountain, so where that cringe comes from. So maybe it's an insecurity of how you're talking. Maybe it's an insecurity of how you're not fitting in. When you climb the shame game, okay, you get on top, you reach the summit, you are on the other side, and no shame land is the best place to be.
You really ran with that analogy.
Oh my God, though. No, seriously. Because if I could tell 18-year-old me that now, you don't feel shame. No, you don't feel shame. You go out, you have fun. As long as you're not hurting somebody or stepping on other people to get where you want to be, you don't have to feel shame or cringe or be like uncomfortable because we're all human, and everybody else, it's another perspective. Everybody else is feeling that same sense of cringe and shame.
Yeah.
And as soon as you open up the floodgates to be like, hey, I'm not cringing at that. I think that's freaking hilarious. Like,
you're going to remember your mistakes so much longer than anyone else's.
Exactly.
And they're like, own your mistakes, but let them go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't hold on to them for dear life.
Huge.
And be able to be like, yep, that was me. I'm going to fix that. But then move on.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to move on. And if you need to keep reminding yourself of that it's not that serious. It's not that big.
Yep.
And there will take things that will take longer than others. And, there's going to be more work that needs to be done.
Yep.
But there's also going to be a lot of things that should just roll off your back.
Yep. But also in the same sense of moving on from your mistakes and moving on from the things that you're not so proud of, part of growing up, but a part of finding who you are is also letting go of the things that no longer serve you, but you were really confident and good at. Like for me, an example for me I'm thinking is like playing a sport all your life, right? Like being really confident in one thing. And getting out of high school and graduating, and it was a big part of my confidence was that I was
also your personality, like your whole like
huge. A
lot of validation comes from that too.
Validation, huge. So I was looking for that validation through that one source, and when that time ended, it was no longer serving me, and it was no longer something that I needed to continue with on my life's journey. I needed to understand that there are other things out there, right? There's other things that you can explore, right? Whether that's not an organized sport, but it's also finding a community and physicality in another space, right?
Yeah.
So like yoga was a huge thing for me. Once I graduated and got out, like going to hot yoga and like trying new spaces and
yeah, that's a good point.
Like it builds that confidence and that community back, but it's transferable. But you have to be able to let go, because the people that hold on to, like, you don't want to be
glory days.
You don't want to be the person sitting in the corner talking about how you were so good at this and this and this.
If that shoulder injury didn't get me, I would have been the quarterback.
I would have been in the shell, man. If I didn't
in the shell. Oh, NHL. I got it.
Yeah. Sorry. Am I?
No.
Am I a frat kid? Anyway, my frat persona is Chad. We actually talked about this at school. It's pretty funny. Anyway, moving on. So no, but it's something that wasn't serving me anymore, and I don't want to be the person talking about my glory days. So now I go into those conversations and somebody says, hey, I've been really into hot yoga lately. I've been really into weightlifting lately. I go, oh my God, I've been trying that out and I feel really great. And I like this and this and this about it. And it's taught me this and this and this. And it's
so maybe like adapting the mode of confidence to fit your current life situation.
Yes.
So something that brought you confidence in the past that maybe is no longer super coherent or symbiotic with your current life.
Yes.
Changing that and allowing it to grow in the same vicinity, but exploring it in a different way.
In different ways. Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
which that's something that we've both adapted to with a lot of things. Like I didn't do hockey or like really team organized sports, but like I played baseball.
Yes. Yep.
And now something that I do is I play in a beer league.
Oh, it's so fun. I love it. I go and I keep scoring the dugout and I have little Echo beside me.
It's true though. And that's something that
and
also
you found
like
a community there. And
like it's something that, and I'm able to feel confident in it because like I wasn't the best ball player. Like I was never going to go like
you were good.
I was never going to go to college for it or I was never gonna play professionally. Like I wasn't, and I didn't care enough to either. But I liked playing it and I was confident in it.
And it brought you a sense of validation. So
and that makes a lot of sense. And then I think like even I know we talked about like last week we talked a lot about like the body dysmorphia and the aspects of that, but also just like the physicality of being strong and doing things that make you feel confident in the way your body, a lot of that body dysmorphia ends up becoming so much less.
Hugely
like I know that when I'm like a big thing, like I have really bad joints. Just fun fact. I have had 19 x-rays, 2 MRIs, 2 ultrasounds. And that's just for my joints and muscles. And that's for insane. Sprains and broken bones and things like that. Yes, I'm klutzy.
That's insane.
But also, I just have weak joints.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah. Violet Sorengale? Subluxate. My arm. Sorry.
Oh my God, every time. Anyways, but. So one thing that. And I also have exercise-induced asthma.
Yeah.
Gotta love that as the chubby girl.
Not great.
But. So one thing that mom facilitated for us growing up was I went and saw a personal trainer. And strength training and powerlifting was a huge point of pride for me because I felt really strong. Like when I'm able to leg press 450 pounds and like.
I don't give a crap how big my legs are. If I can push 400 pounds, holy cow.
Like I feel really good. And then. Like in different aspects, like we both started fighting.
Oh,
like
huge.
In different.
Yes.
You did mixed martial arts. I did a lot of boxing.
But
that was also a huge confidence builder for me because I felt really strong.
I felt like and we've talked about this before, but I feel like a lot of times my words are my weapons. I feel like a lot of times de-escalating situations. De-escalating like situations or conflicts, like my words are my weapons. The last resort. But I didn't always feel confident in what if it came to that? What if it came to I was walking home alone and I couldn't de-escalate a conversation with my words and I had to defend myself? It's like knowing that you can walk a little taller and because you can handle yourself and your body is capable of like
there's a confidence in safety. In feeling safe within yourself.
Safe and strong. Like you feel like fighting teaches you a sense of composure and also
it's kind of like what we talked about earlier, like when to stand on your business. Like being able having that confidence in your ability to protect yourself and which is like a whole other aspect. And like the fact that like you should never have to use your fists.
But this is sorry. I'm gonna lose this point. I need to say sorry. It's a huge point of somatic. It's like mind-body connection. It's a it's a physical example of the mind-body connection, right? Because your brain doesn't know the difference between you forgetting to circle back on an email and an animal chasing you. Like it's the same fight or flight response, right?
Yeah.
Right? It still clicks the same thing in your brain. So when you have that patience response and somebody is going at you, like constantly going for a pull or like an arm bar or whatever, and you're like constantly having to remember your composure so that you can make it out of that and know your next steps. It connects that patience to a physical thing. So then when you're in those situations where you do have to keep your patience, your brain doesn't somatically flip its lid and your trauma response goes off because you've connected it to this is a huge thing that was a big part of learning confidence in those areas and learning confidence in my own mental capacity.
Somatic connection and somatic therapy is something I want to explore so much.
It was
just
huge.
Personally.
It was huge.
No, I completely agree. And there comes like a sense of peace in knowing that you can handle more than you think you can. Yes. And like when you're especially as a woman, those situations are really hard to walk into. Like walking into a boxing gym for the first time, super intimidating.
Yeah. Walking in with your sister, it lightens the blow a little bit.
It does. And
but
like
not always.
And start with like when you're fun cardio classes or things like that. And like just even the act of throwing a punch.
Yeah.
Is a whole different...
It can be really intimidating if you've never held and made a fist before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to learn that, like, I had a natural skill for it.
Yeah.
Like, I swam as a kid. And, like, so I got those big-ass back muscles like Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I don't know why my lats are over... Oh, no, I do. It's scoliosis. Continue. Sorry. I had to... One sidebar.
But yeah, like, I was a dancer and a swimmer, and I always felt like my power came from my legs, and then learning that I could feel strong in my upper body strength, and that like it was taking that strength that came from certain activities and certain aspects, and then seeing it apply in different areas that really changed. It made me feel confident in a different way, but still from that physical aspect, and was
that your physicality was versatile.
Yeah. And it was like it helped build that confidence in a sense that like I didn't need to just be one thing. And like and then my confidence in my body didn't need to come from one thing, and I could apply it to so many different things. And like that you're right, that like those modalities really do change, and like as your abilities change too, like your body is so different as you get older, like and you know you can't do all the things that you used to be able to do, but just because you can't run 10 kilometers, I mean, I'm pretty sure
when your physical therapist tells you, please Georgia, don't run anymore,
like that, it's okay, you can find that physical outlet in different aspects.
Phenomenal stand-up fighter. I am very I like kicking. I love
it's because you're a little sister.
The illegal couch move. Look at my elf shoes. The illegal couch move. Oh my god.
Every younger sibling knows that, like, I have the remote under my back.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's always the remote under the back.
Always the remote.
No, it's an illegal move and it was lethal. Yeah, no, maybe that's where it's from. But no, I like.
And as an older sister, we have to come from up top. Just
but no, like
teach a thing about a thing.
Yeah, no, you're a phenomenal stand-up fighter was my point. But yeah, no, like I truly think that when you connect something so physically exhausting or physically
the physical endurance can emulate the mental endurance.
Yes. And it teaches you that in a different way, and it teaches your body to remember that you're okay even when your mind is telling you I'm not okay right now. Your body is like, okay, you're still doing okay. You're not having a physical reaction anymore. And with anxiety and like with anything that manifests, like a lot of mental health will manifest physically. Yeah. And it's a part that so many people are forgetting. And to be confident in your security, in your mental health is just another way to be confident in every space of your life.
I think that's a good point too. Like a lot of times we think of the negative physical side effects of mental health, but also when you feel confident, where do you feel it in your body?
Yes.
Like recognizing that too and being like, okay, maybe I don't always, like I'm not always thinking that I'm super confident in this moment, but take stock of your body's reactions. Like, are you shrinking in on yourself? There's just like, there's a physical aspect of confidence that's so tied to the mental. And like when you find the connection between them, one can really help the other. You might not feel super confident in that moment. Yes. But if you have your shoulders back and your head up and like you're putting your best foot forward, your body will get you there.
Yes.
I think like, okay, so we've talked a lot about just all the different aspects of confidence. I want to kind of end this 2-part saga. Rapid fire, you get to go back and give advice to a little girl that you truly love, like your niece. Because like both of us aren't really super attached to the idea of having kids, but like if you could tell your daughter or like, so I think of like, but like specifically a little girl. Rapid fire, best advice you can give for like confidence, feeling confident, like just like really practical.
Whatever you're insecure about, somebody else is not seeing. Somebody else is just as insecure about something about themselves. So understand that it may seem so big and pivotal to you. However, give yourself grace and remember that it's not always big to everybody else.
Ooh, yeah.
Or if you are in a situation where your mind is telling you run, sometimes look at your feet, remember they're on the ground, remember that you are not being chased by a bear, and that you can put your shoulders back and live in your body and not in your head for a little bit.
Ooh,
live in your breath, live in your like mind body space instead of those ruminating thoughts. And also find a community or find an activity or find a space that you can pull ideas and inspirations from that make you stand a little taller, make you be able to hold your shoulders up high, because maybe you have something to talk about that you're really excited about, and that'll bring you that extra level of confidence, because when you really love something and you know a lot about it, you feel really confident talking about it. So that's like rapid fire off the dome.
That's some good advice. I like it. Because we know I love my sayings, which I'm gonna make you bleep this out. You're gonna up.
Yeah.
Make sure you know what you're gonna do afterwards.
Yeah. Yep.
Because your mistakes don't define you. Your solutions do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're gonna keep learning, and like it's okay to keep learning, and you should be learning.
Yeah.
And also, it's not that serious.
Oh, good one.
Just everything, and like 90% of problems. Like sometimes I have to tell myself that over and over again. Like where I'm like, oh my god, everything is just too big right now.
Yeah. Sometimes
it's just not that serious.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And there will be moments where you can't say that to yourself with a straight face. But also, just in general, like this kind of is more so for last week, spend more time naked.
Oh my God. Okay. Have you seen the debate on the naked mom? Okay. Like segue. Are we like, we'll wrap up after this, but segue. Have you seen the debate on the naked mom versus the clothed mom theory? Our mom. Okay. When you think of our mom and our household, if mom was getting ready in the morning, round brushing her hair, what clothing items did she have on? Was she usually fully dressed?
She's in underwear.
Always in underwear. Always in underwear. There's a theory.
Or like her robe.
Yeah, or her robe. Like they like so there's the naked mom theory. If you grew up with a naked mom, you're more like, it's like more likely to be open or free with your body and more confident in your body because of those examples. Or there's a completely adverse effect where you're really uncomfortable with any form of like nudity or openness or freeness.
Fallen into that side of TikTok.
Yes, no, apparently it's a thing. Apparently it's like a naked, like it's like the naked mom. If you had a naked mom, yeah, no, but it's like a huge debate because some people are like, I had a naked mom and I hated it. It made me violently uncomfortable. But then there's also like the side of it where it's like they viewed their body, like their mom viewed their body as also an extension of theirs, so they didn't have like boundaries kind of thing.
That's a whole other worm.
Yeah,
Can of worms.
Yeah.
That's a whole other worm.
That's a whole other worm. But yeah, no,
I say that
truly spend more time naked.
Spend more time naked in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
And preferably with your windows.
Hey, Miss Legal advice expert.
Don't spend more time naked outside.
What are the repercussions of public indecency?
I don't do criminal law.
Dang it.
And then that would be like my and find someone that you look up to.
Yep.
Kind of touching back on last week and like the finding confidence in the traits from other people and finding your tribe. Yep. Find someone that you look up to and why and analyze why you look up to them. Yeah. And then go from there. That's a good starting point.
Yep.
And
wonderful points. Well, thank you for coming to this 2-parter confidence.
It was a big one. Extravaganza.
I hope you enjoyed. I hope that
shout out if you can catch the point where our camera died and Echo just appeared.
Yeah.
Magic.
Ooh, the magic of editing.
She decided that she was over being excluded from this experience. So she found her spot on my lap and was not moving.
Where she sits, she stays.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all. Cue the outro, future Georgia.
Wait.
Oh, shit. Oh, do the little wand.
This is my wand. These are our socials. Do.
Also, this is just a.
Do you think it could bounce?